On Israel's hit list, there has emerged a victim who can be considered the most significant one since the outbreak of this round of Middle East conflict. Hassan Nasrallah was attacked and killed. Al-Manar TV, owned by Hezbollah in Lebanon, has confirmed that the supreme leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, has unfortunately passed away. Prior to this, the Israeli Defense Forces first released a battle report, claiming that in an airstrike on Hezbollah's headquarters in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, they successfully killed multiple Hezbollah high-ranking figures including Nasrallah. Once this news was spread, it instantly caused a huge uproar in public opinion worldwide. This is another important figure in the arc of resistance in the Middle East who has been decapitation operation after Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was assassinated in Iran. According to media revelations, Israel's operation to decapitate Nasrallah was approved by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is on a visit to the United States. Netanyahu thought that the timing is rare and even gave the green light for this operation without waiting to return home. It is noteworthy that during Netanyahu's visit to the United States, U.S. President Joe Biden also issued a call for peace, asking Israel and Lebanon to cease fire for 21 days to avoid more serious civilian casualties. However, for Biden, who is about to step down, Israel obviously did not show any respect. At Netanyahu's order, on September 27th, Israeli warplanes suddenly launched a large-scale airstrike on the southern suburbs of Beirut. It is said that, at that time, Nasrallah and multiple senior commanders were holding a meeting in an underground bunker there. However, Israel's bunker-busting bombs fell from the sky and wiped out Hezbollah's high-level leaders in one fell swoop after the airstrike ended. The Israeli Defense Forces quickly released a battle report, claiming that they had killed Nasrallah and others in this airstrike. But Hezbollah denied it immediately, claiming that Nasrallah is in a very safe state. However, not long after, sources from Hezbollah released news that they had lost contact with Nasrallah since the Israeli bombing on the evening of September 27th. Immediately after that, news spread that Iran's supreme religious leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had been urgently transferred to a safe place. This cannot help but make the outside world full of doubts. As Iran's top figure, if there is no major threat, Ayatollah Khamenei will definitely not be urgently transferred. This seems to imply that a major event may have occurred in the Middle East. Sure enough, not long after, the media controlled by Hezbollah issued an obituary, confirming the news of the death of Nasrallah and others. Who is Nasrallah? Many people are familiar with the name Nasrallah. In the past few decades, in the Middle East crises that often appear in the news, the names of Nasrallah and Hezbollah are frequently heard. As an important representative of anti-Israeli forces in the Middle East region, it can be said that Nasrallah has been highly associated with Hezbollah. His life has also been a life of intense confrontation with Israel. His death in the Israeli airstrike this time also gives a sense of a hero's tragic end after countless battles. According to reports, Nasrallah was born in 1960 in the suburbs of Beirut, the capital of Lebanon. Coming from a Shiite family, he went to study in Najaf, the Shiite Holy Land in Iraq, at the age of only 16. In 1982, he joined the nascent Hezbollah and soon stood out with his outstanding ability. In 1992, Nasrallah, who was only 31 years old, took over as the leader of Hezbollah until he was killed in an attack in 2024. It is worth noting that the reason why Nasrallah was able to take on an important position at the age of 30 was precisely because his predecessor Musawi was killed in an Israeli airstrike. Now, 32 years later, Nasrallah has not escaped this fate. Under Nasrallah's leadership, Hezbollah has rapidly developed and grown, and has seemingly become a state within a state in Lebanon, possessing strong economic and military power, with the support of countries such as Iran. Hezbollah's military strength has achieved a leap forward in recent years. It has tens of thousands of militants, and its stockpile of missiles and rockets is said to exceed 150,000, including medium-range ballistic missiles that can cover multiple countries in the Middle East. Hezbollah, with a strong army and abundant horses, has had many fierce conflicts with Israel and has become one of Iran's strongest allies. For Israel, this is naturally a major concern that cannot be ignored. Therefore, taking advantage of the good opportunity of the outbreak of this round of Middle East conflict, Israel apparently intends to solve the anti-Israeli forces around it once and for all. First, it severely damaged Hamas forces, and then targeted Hezbollah, showing a trend of eradicating them completely, according to the latest news. Under the background of Nasrallah's death and Hezbollah being leaderless, the Chief of Staff of the Israeli Defense Forces has ordered that after large-scale airstrikes, the Israeli army will invade Lebanon and completely eliminate Hezbollah forces in the south of the country. This also means that the largest armed conflict in the Middle East in recent years may break out at any time. Why is Israel attacking on all fronts? According to reports, since last October when Hamas forces launched the Al-Aqsa flood operation against Israel, enraged, has used the reason of avenging the killed and injured civilians as an excuse to continuously use force against neighboring countries. First, it sent troops to Gaza to sweep Hamas forces, causing tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians to be injured or killed. Then it publicly slapped Iran in the face by assassinating Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, who was visiting in Tehran, the capital of Iran. Immediately after that, Israel targeted neighboring Lebanon again and threatened to eliminate Hezbollah forces. For a time, the situation in the Middle East was turbulent, and the whole world was worried that a new round of all-out Middle East war would break out. Recently, Israel's intelligence agency Mossad first launched an unprecedented pager serial explosion attack operation, simultaneously detonating thousands of tampered pagers, killing and injuring thousands of Hezbollah backbone members. This has greatly weakened Hezbollah's organizational execution power, putting the powerful Hezbollah forces in a semi-paralyzed state. Israel will certainly not let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity slip away. It quickly dispatched a large number of warplanes to launch a fierce bombing campaign against Hezbollah forces in Lebanon. So far, it has caused thousands of casualties, including civilians. During his visit to the United States, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ignored the ceasefire appeal issued by U.S. President Joe Biden and ordered the Israeli Defense Forces to continue to fight with all their strength, clearly not taking Biden, who is about to step down, seriously. With encouragement from the highest level, the Israeli army no longer has any scruples. In recent days, it has launched fierce bombings on Lebanon, causing a serious humanitarian disaster and also crossing the line and killing Hezbollah leader Nasrallah. In the words of Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Lebanon has fallen into hell. Who gave Israel the crazy courage? Then, why is Israel recklessly attacking in the Middle East without worrying about being counterattacked? Military analysts believe that Israel's waging of war this time is first of all for moral justification at home. After being raided by Hamas on its own territory last October, Israel claimed that thousands of civilians and soldiers were killed and more than 200 people were captured. This is the biggest loss Israel has suffered in decades, which has caused a strong backlash from the hardliners in Israel. They ignore the historical issues of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and also ignore the far greater civilian casualties of Palestine than Israel. They have put pressure to demand retaliation. In this case, Israel first launched a battle to encircle Hamas. However, during the more than half a year that the Israeli army has been sweeping Gaza, although the international community has strongly urged Israel to stop military operations to Avoid causing a serious humanitarian disaster. Western countries including the United States obviously lack effective means to restrain Israel's behavior. They even continue to supply weapons and ammunition to the Israeli army, providing material support for Israel's massacre of civilians. If Western countries have shown a duplicitous attitude in this incident, then why hasn't Iran, the big brother of the anti-Israeli alliance in the Middle East, taken substantial actions? It should be pointed out that since the outbreak of this round of Middle East conflict, Iran has also been in a rather difficult situation. First, then President Ibrahim Raisi unfortunately died in a helicopter accident. Subsequently, the newly appointed Pezeshkian, although he has repeatedly condemned Israel's atrocities, apparently does not want to easily get involved in dangerous situations and even publicly stated that he has no intention of going to war with Israel. Even after the Hamas leader was killed in Tehran, Iran only issued a few tough words and then took no further action. Iran's high degree of restraint not only did not make Israel return from the wrong path, but instead made Israel think that it has seen through Iran's appearance of strength, but inner weakness. After determining that Iran will not intervene, Israel has no more concerns and immediately takes action against Hezbollah. A major concern. This time, Nasrallah was actually killed. The death of Nasrallah will undoubtedly deal a heavy blow to Hezbollah. In the past few decades, Nasrallah seems to have become a symbol of Hezbollah and enjoys extremely high prestige within Lebanon. Whether his sudden death will make Hezbollah's members be filled with a common hatred or lead to internal division remains unknown at present. But it can be predicted that what Israel has done is like walking a tightrope. You should know that whether it is a person or a country, patience is limited. Israel thinks it is cleverly playing this dangerous game, but it does not know that a slight misstep will lead to a complete failure. At that time, what awaits Israel is likely to be an even more violent counterattack.